Imagine finding your dream rental, only to discover a secret lurking beneath the surface. What if your walls could talk, revealing a history far darker than you ever imagined? Prepare to step inside a house where every creak and shadow tells a story of unexpected horrors, turning a simple rental agreement into a living nightmare you won't believe. Enjoyed the story. Sarah Thompson gripped the steering wheel tighter as her old sedan crunched over fallen leaves. The air outside carried that sharp, crisp scent of autumn, wet earth mixed with the faint rot of maple pods crunching under tires. It was the kind of smell that promised change, a fresh start. At 27, after Mark's betrayal shredded her marriage like cheap tissue, Sarah needed this. He'd confessed the affair over cold coffee one morning, his voice flat as the kitchen tile. "It's not you," he'd said. "Liar." Now this Victorian rental house loomed ahead. Porch swings swaying gently, gingerbread trim like lace on a wedding dress she never wore. She parked, stepped out, boots sinking into soft grass still damp from last night's rain. Her heart fluttered. Excitement? Fear? Both. Inside, the door creaked open with a groan that echoed down the hall, like the house was exhaling after years of holding breath. The air hit her, stale, laced with old lavender and dust motes dancing in slanted sunlight. Sarah dropped her suitcase. It thudded against worn oak floors, sending a vibration up her legs. She wandered the living room, fingers trailing lace curtains soft as spiderwebs, yellowed at the edges. This could be home, she thought, chest tightening with a mix of hope and ache. No more shared spaces haunted by his cologne. Just me, rebuilding brick by brick. But as she knelt to unpack books, her knee nudged a floorboard, loose, splintered at the edge. Curiosity won. She pried it up with trembling nails, wood rough and splintery against her skin. Beneath, a photograph, edges curled like dying leaves. A woman, mid-30s, fair skin glowing in sepia tones, arm linked with a smiling man, but her eyes, green like Sarah's, held a flicker of something broken, shadowed. The background? This room, wallpaper faded but unmistakable, floral vines climbing toward the ceiling. Who was she? Sarah's pulse raced, photo cool in her palm. And why hide it here, like a secret too heavy to carry? Night and faint vanilla, the bed frame groaning as she shifted. Mark's voice echoed in her mind. "You're too emotional, Sarah, always overreacting." But wasn't betrayal the real overreaction? The way he'd packed his lies into suitcases, leaving her hollow? She sighed, walls absorbing the sound. Then, a creak. Not the house settling. A whisper, breathy against plaster. "Help." Sarah froze, sheets tangling around her legs like restraints. Wind? Imagination? But it came again. Closer, weaving through floorboards. Sarah! Her blood turned to ice, heart slamming like a trapped bird. The walls weren't just old, they were alive with someone else's pain. And as the whisper twisted into a choked sob, Sarah pressed her ear to the cool plaster, realizing this house didn't just shelter secrets, it screamed them. Sunlight pierced the curtains like accusatory fingers the next morning, but Sarah's sleep had been fractured, dreams of Mark's laugh mingling with that ghostly plea. She brewed coffee, the machine gurgling like a reluctant confession, steam rising, hot and bitter on her tongue.
The photo lay on the kitchen table, woman's face staring up as if pleading. I can't ignore this, Sarah thought, fingers drumming scarred wood. What if she's like me, betrayed, buried alive in silence? She stepped outside, gravel crunching under slippers, to the neighbor's porch. Mrs. Ellis, 65, rocking in a wicker chair, floral scarf fluttering like faded flags. "New here?" Mrs. Ellis asked, voice warm as fresh bread, but eyes sharp behind bifocals. Sarah nodded, showing the photo. "Found this under the floor. Know her?" The older woman leaned in, scent of rose water and pipe tobacco wafting over. "Elena. Lived there 20 years back. Baker. Always sharing pies that melted in your mouth. Flaky crust warm with cinnamon." But her smile faded, chair creaking like bones. "Husband. Tom. Charming devil." Then the whispers started. Late nights, raised voices seeping through walls like smoke. Sarah's stomach knotted, coffee turning sour. What happened? Mrs. Ellis sighed, rocking slower. "Affair. Tom with the barmaid down the street. Elena found letters, crumpled, ink smeared with his excuses. She confronted him one storm night, thunder rattling windows like God's own anger. He laughed, said she was too plain, too tired, packed and left her with debts and a heart in tatters." Betrayal. Sarah's throat tightened, vision blurring. Just like Mark, his texts to her, casual as grocery lists. "Babe, tonight, while I planned our anniversary dinner." She gripped the railing, knuckles white. Did she leave? Worse. Stayed too long. Walls closing in. One morning, door ajar and her gone. Folks said she drove off a bridge. But I wonder, did the house swallow her sorrow? Back inside, Sarah tore at baseboards, nails splintering wood that bit back with sharp edges. Dust choked the air, gritty on her lips, as she unearthed a tin box, rusted, lid pried with a screech. Inside, diary scraps, paper yellowed and brittle, Elena's script looping like veins. October 12th. Heard them laughing in our bed. My bed. Smelled her perfume on his shirt, cheap jasmine, clinging like guilt. Why me, Lord? For loving too hard? Sarah read on, voice cracking aloud, each word a stab. Elena's rages. I'd scream into pillows, feathers sticking to wet cheeks. Her hopes. Maybe he'll come back, see the woman he married. But the entries darkened. Nights pacing creaky floors, whispers to empty rooms. I'm her, Sarah realized, tears hot on flushed skin, trapped in echoes of what-ifs. But Elena didn't run. She wrote, poured pain into pages. What if I did the same? Forgave not him, but myself. What secrets does your home hide? Drop a comment below. Let's uncover them together. Suddenly, a scrape overhead, like footsteps in the attic. Not wind, heavy, deliberate. Sarah's breath hitched as plaster dust sifted from the ceiling, and she knew Elena's story wasn't finished. The house demanded she peel back more than walls. Sarah climbed the pull-down stairs to the attic, flashlight beam slicing dust-choked darkness like a knife. Air up here was thicker, stale sweat and forgotten mildew clinging to rafters.
beams rough-hewn and splintery under her palms. Her flashlight caught cobwebs, veiling trunks, a rocking horse with one eye missing, staring blankly. This is madness, she thought, pulse thundering in ears. But Elena's words pull me, her pain a mirror to mine, reflecting cracks I ignored. She swept the beam, wallpaper peels curling like old skin, revealing a hidden nook behind insulation, loose panel, edges jagged. Pushing it aside, fingers numb and scraped raw, Sarah uncovered a bundle. Letters tied with frayed ribbon, postmarks faded to ghosts. Tom to Elena. Forgive the slip. It's you I love. But underlined, angry scrawls. Lies! He beds her while I bake his bread. Sarah sank to the floorboards, knees grinding grit, unfolding the final note. Elena's hand shaky, ink blotched with what might be tears. If these walls could speak, they'd tell you, betrayal isn't the end. It's the chisel carving strength from stone. I leave not broken, but remade. Plant flowers here, dear finder. Let roots drink my tears, bloom into yours. Forgiveness, not for him, for the girl I was. Sob ripped from Sarah's chest, raw and echoing, shoulders heaving as rain lashed the roof like applause. God, Elena, how? Mark's face flashes, smirking as he signed papers, taking half my soul. I hated him, hated me for loving blind. But reading on, fury ebbed to a tide of understanding. Elena's hopes, dreams of a bakery downtown, sense of rising dough symbolizing second chances. Fears, loneliness colder than winter drafts through cracked panes. We women, we carry houses in our hearts, rooms filled with what-ifs and whys. But ladies over 60, you've taught me, age isn't the thief of joy. Holding grudges is. Let go. Rebuild. Your stories, they're blueprints for us young fools. Sarah traced the words, paper whispering against skin like a benediction. Dawn crept in, gray light filtering through grimy skylight, turning dust golden. She descended, bundle clutched like a talisman. The house quieter now, not silent, but companionable, creaks like old friends sharing burdens. In the yard, Sarah knelt in mud, cool and yielding, planting bulbs Elena mentioned, tulips, red as fresh wounds turning to petals. I'll stay, she decided, dirt caking nails, the smile tentative but real. Turn this rental into roots. Mark's ghost fades like bad dreams at sunrise. Elena's echo lingered, not horror, but him, a reminder that walls hold heartbreaks, but we choose what grows through the cracks. What betrayal have you forgiven that set you free? Share in the comments. Your wisdom lights the way for us all. And as the first bulb pushed through soil, Sarah whispered back, "Thank you." The house sighed, content.